Anyway, though, let's jump right into this sounds like ship, and I hope that this sounds better than the last react I posted. It did really well because of the title and thumbnail. It has like the lowest percentage viewed because nobody can deal with their awful audio. So this one is all about audio, so it should be a lot better. It's called This Sounds Like Ship, and the word around the block is that this was a lot better of an episode, but it's still an episode on sound. How good could it be? Let's see.
I've often said that audio is the one thing that you can play a game without. You don't notice audio until it's not there.
You can...
What? Did he just say you can play a game without audio? I mean, kind of, but...
Watch a movie or play a game without the sound. You would only have like half the experience.
He's an audio guy.
The challenge for us is to make it worth listening to our sounds.
I think he meant can't.
We've really got to earn the attention.
We try to make games sound natural, and the less you hear it, the better it is for us, because it means you are into this world and it's believable.
Yeah, he's a Gun Rush main, so he had to turn the audio off.
I think that was one of the main aspects. So when it comes to making a ship, the art makes it look really good. The props make it look believable from the inside. But when it comes to audio, when the audio is done, this is really what it's bring to life. Ship ambience is like pretty much everything that happens when you walk inside your ship, sounds you can hear that makes it a space, basically.
If you were to consider ambience in painting, the ambience for us would be represented as the first layer of paint, the background, on which we apply much more detailed and curated strokes of flair and interest.
We call that the bed because that's the thing you lay on, basically. You rely on that to make it believable. And it's one thing you don't really hear. You don't pay attention to it, but it's there, and it makes it...
That's the whole C.
...believable as a space you're in, and it can really sell the immersion of a ship.
Presently, this is all done by hand, and it takes a lot of time. So, myself and Corentin have banded together to make overarching systems which will take less input and make all the ship systems unified, and in turn, these ambiences will become already generated on the ship at runtime, because we know...
So this isn't just a, hey, listen to the nice audio in our ships. This is, you're going to get your ships faster because this dude and another guy made a system to do it faster. Okay. As always, cool.
We know how a Drake ship's supposed to sound. We know how a MISC ship's supposed to sound. We can implement that before the ship even exists in order to save us time and then allow us to spend more time on the really characterful elements, the thrusters, the moving parts, anything that really brings that higher level of quality to the ship at the end.
Okay, but that's just the ship's ambience. So every MISC ship will have the base layer the same, and then all the other stuff they'll do on their own. It almost sounds like their procedural planet explanation initially. We can make a planet in seconds, in minutes. And then it takes them literally 40 years. Oh, sick. So door opening and closing sounds? I guess, yeah. Thruster sounds. I think every ship has its own unique thruster sounds.
So with physicalized components, we thought it would really be a good idea to have them be the center of attention for the rework of ship ambiences, meaning you can have all sorts of different components in your ship, shield generator, power plant, all that stuff. These would have sounds attached to them, being reactive and all that stuff, depending on what you do in your ship. And that would then fill all the space inside the ship
We envision the excitement of a player switching on the quantum drive and hearing the quantum fuel traveling through the pipes from the fuel tank and binding to the quantum drive before you engage quantum travel, and hearing that surge back with a backfire towards the...
Instead of like we hear now, that would be nice.
Quantum fuel tank, and then you feel the inertia of the ship traveling forward at a great speed, which really make the player feel like they're on a moving ship going through space.
This would modulate depending on the amount of energy you use during your flight sessions. So if you were to walk around your ship, if the pilot is going really fast and using a lot of different systems, the sound would react to that.
I think those are squadron helmets,
more busy ambience. If you would walk to the actual component itself, you would hear it in action live.
Fucking FOIP, dude.
Moving from the inside out, we move to thrusters. Thrusters really convey the propulsion of the ship going forward.
Another
As a pilot
fake
or passenger, you should be
system
able to
shown.
know or feel what the ship is doing and how it's traveling through space, regardless of where you are on the ship. We need to tell
X-Fight,
players
you're the
that
only person I've seen
are
made
maybe
it look
sorting
good.
cargo in the cargo bay, which direction the player is traveling. Are you rolling? Are you evading enemies?
We wanted to rework that to make it more up-to-date with the new systems, especially master modes. The idea was that in combat mode, your ship must be more reactive, much more aggressive, with a limited speed range. So that's what we were trying to express with in the thrusters.
Wherein we have multiple modes of flight, which really affect how the thrusters work sonically.
You would hear less filtering, like more.
When do we get this? By the way, they're talking a lot about it, but with there's no timeline of when it comes in.
High frequencies would be, you would feel the weight of your ship when going really fast. You want to hear that you are in combat.
4.0.
And this is the thing that maintains you living, basically. So yeah, you want to take care of that ship.
Like, this isn't Star Citizen. What is this? Why do they keep just making movies?
And finally today, impacts, things colliding with the hull of the ship. The plan for impacts is to move to a more localized, descriptive version of what we have currently.
When you are in combat, when you get hit, you want to know how you got hit and where you got hit. So that's where
we saw this last
the rework
week.
of impacts come into place. You need to know exactly where you got hit and at what extent. If your ship got badly damaged, this needs to be communicated.
Impacts from ballistics, laser weapons and bullets will tell the player the sound on the exterior of the ship, whereas vibrations will give more information about the stress that that impact is having on the ship. All these things are affecting the hull of the ship, and we need to sort of let the player on board know whether they're a pilot or not, what sort of environment they're flying through.
Crashing is a big thing that audio doesn't support well at the moment. We are trying to make that right, especially crashing into grounds, landing, all these interactions with bigger objects. We want
all these interactions that the community partakes in more often than they like, for sure.
to reflect that, and we want to make sure that your passengers will know if you make slight flight mistakes, let's say.
You'll be aware that your pilot's doing a good or bad job.
I could see this falling apart in live with networking. They must ensure that the triggering and the sound and the visual is in sync, or it will just be hella messy. I mean, dude, look at all the audio in the game currently, right? It's super duper messy right now in terms of, I don't know if these guys are in charge of calling ATC or just VoIP or all these things that are just such a mess. Like just even the general like mixing of sound between voice audio and the ambient sound in the game is just nuts.
Depending on the debris or the impacts that are
music
happening on
is
the
like
hull,
barely there.
and you can let them know that they're not doing particularly well.
Like, I don't understand how we're moving on to other things when so many things are broken, but all this does sound good, I guess. There's supposed to be music, yeah.
So that was a glimpse of the many things we're working on for
It's
Ship
cool.
Experience.
Every week's a game
and we
trailer,
really are
but
trying to bring this experience to the next level.
So altogether,
every week's a game
what
trailer
we call
and not
the
a game.
ship experience is greatly improved by these overarching systems which play back and forth within each other, allowing the player to really feel that they're in a living, breathing ship and that their ship is unique amongst other ships. You might have
like
another
that
loadout
idea.
with the components.
The components loadout, having different ambient sounds, I think is so cool.
To someone else with the identical ship, and this will make your Sonic experience unique in which other games really can't portray.
We hope you'll enjoy all the new stuff we bring in the future.
In the future, okay.
So what did we learn this week?
Not
hopefully
much.
Between the Claudia show and this, we've showcased just a little bit about why audio is so important to creating a truly immersive experience for our players. Why it can be an important means for pilots, passengers, engineers, and attackers alike to gauge a situation and respond appropriately. And that the audio experience continues to be improved and iterated upon just like any other aspect of Star Citizen. So for Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you. And we'll see you all here next week.
Maybe, if we're lucky. Or maybe it'll be another week off or something. Who knows?
Did I get everything on the list?
Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Are we supposed to zoom in on the list? Honestly, I don't care. Who cares? We'll hear them when they're in game. But yeah, I mean, the things that I think is the coolest is straight up based on the quantum drive, based on the coolers, based on everything you put in your ship. It might sound a little bit different. Now we just need to have people want to put something other than military grade stuff in their ship, right? So people have different sounding ships for different reasons. And that'll be kind of cool. How neat would it be to join a ship and know based on the sounds what quantum drive they have on? You know what I mean? That would be kind of interesting. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see.